And just like that, an offensive line room that has taken hits this offseason to the transfer portal, but also guys that are graduating out, guys that are going to the NFL draft. The Oklahoma Sooners and Bill Bedenbaugh get a much needed win on the recruiting trail in Febechi Nwaiwu. And if you've watched the show, you've watched what we're talking about in portal updates. Listen, you knew that this wasn't a surprise. You knew Oklahoma was in the running for this kid. You knew it was coming soon. And you got a big time win on the offensive line in the transfer portal, one that actually might fly under the radar, just like he did out of high school. And we're going to talk about it today. We're going to break it down and also maybe look at another prospect that Oklahoma is looking at in the transfer portal. But before we do that, guys, if you're new to the show, because this month, there's 26,000 of you that are new to the show. You heard me right. 26,000. Thank you for tuning in to the PG show where we talk about all things college football. But I got to show Oklahoma a little bit more love because it's the team that I love and it's the team that you love, right? So it makes more sense that we can sit here and we can talk about this and share our thoughts about how the Sooners are doing. Additionally, if you have not already, you need to hit that like and you need to hit that subscribe button. I threw out an interesting statistic for you guys earlier because you guys know I'm a stat person. 78% of you guys that return, there was about, I think, 40,000 of you that are returning viewers. 78% of you guys are not subscribed. So I need you to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed because it helps me out. Helps me know you like this OU content. And then as we go into other content from other college football teams as well, I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that. But we're working on and building that up. So the Oklahoma Sooners, they get a commitment from Febechi Nwaiwu. And you might be like, well, who is this kid, right? He's from North Texas, not from a big program, not the guys we were necessarily looking for, because you guys have seen guys from Georgia hit the portal. I think the kid from A&M, he hit the portal, and now he's withdrawn his name. So Oklahoma hasn't hit on any of those. Now, they got Spencer Brown out of Michigan State, but I want people to remember this, right? Bill Bedenbaugh does feel like his best work in the portal with guys that have been on a college football field, have established what they can do. And when you look at what Febechi has done in his time in college football, just the brief 2 years, he started over 20 games over the last 2 seasons. So he's got experience. And when you look at his freshman year, he was a freshman All-American. And that's pretty big because you lost a guy in Caden Green who you thought would be an All-American. Then in 2023, he earned all conference honors in the ACC or the AAC, not the ACC, AAC. And interesting enough there, he actually missed time due to injury. So that tells you the dude balled out, right? It was a very good evaluation with Seth Luttrell when he was at North Texas, and then obviously kind of giving Bill Bedenbaugh that nudge, saying, hey, like, I recruited this guy to North Texas. It's a guy that maybe we should bring to the team this offseason if he hits the portal because he's just that good. He's just that dude, right? And when you've had the quote-unquote depletion that you've had in the offensive line room if you're Oklahoma, then you need to be able to go out there and need to replenish that with talent that is not only experienced, but talent that has upside. And you get Febechi in a room with Jerry Schmidt and Bill Bedenbaugh. I mean, it's only up from there, right? So you look at what he's been able to do at right guard in his collegiate career, over 1,600 snaps. 1,600 snaps. Shout out to Sooners Wire for that stat, or PFF, wherever they got it from. But actually pretty favorable stat because you're losing Caden Green at the guard position spot. So Febechi's going to come in and he's going to give you a much needed filler in that hole. Now, I say Bill Bedenbaugh does his best work in the portal because you guys have seen what McCade Matauer's done. You've seen what Tyler Guyton's done. You even see what Walter Rouse did this year, right? Now, Caleb Schaefer didn't really get a chance to see much action, but Bill Bedenbaugh, like, when he goes to the portal and he looks at guys, I feel like Bill Bedenbaugh could make a solid offensive line out of the transfer portal of 5 guys every single year and make it a competitive offensive line. Maybe not a Joe Morrow Award offensive line, but I feel like he can make it competitive. And you guys can let me know what you guys think about that. You might think I'm completely crazy and off my rocker there, but Bill Bedenbaugh is an excellent developer of talent. And when he sees talent, he's going to go out there and get it. And guys know you're going to come into the program and you're going to have to play hard for Bedenbaugh. It's not going to be something where you walk in there and it's going to be a walk in the park. So I look at Febechi Nwaiwu and I say, you know what? It's a good pickup for Oklahoma. Now, you might be saying, well, who does Oklahoma go after now at this point? Because when you look at some of the transfer portal exits, and let's walk through them, you have Aaron Parks, you have Caden Green, you have Tyler Guyton, you have Andrew Rame, you have Savion Byrd, you have Nate Anderson, right? You're losing quite a bit, including guys that came into the program, a lot of people were hyped for, and it didn't just pan out. Obviously, we've talked about it. I think Troy Everett is going to be your center next year. Obviously, you've got Sexton coming back. Think you fit Spencer Brown in there. Obviously, Nwaiwu is going to get an opportunity to start. I think he will be a starter. And then the question is, does a guy like Jake Taylor, maybe a Heath Ozida, remember him last year, guys? Big human being. Or do you go out there and get a Gino Vandermark? Because remember, I've talked about Gino Vandermark and said that's a guy that I believe Oklahoma is going to land, and I feel like you're going to see that announcement soon, right? You bring in one of those guys, or one of them able to kind of come in. Because remember, they might be slotted at one position, but Bill Bedenbaugh's good at getting these guys ready to play multiple positions on that offensive line. And although Everett, I don't think really worked at guard this year, which is why you saw Caden Green slip in there. Everett's a really good center. And I think he's going to probably win that battle over Josh Bates. So I look at the offensive line and I say, you land Gino Vandermark, and you've gotten Eddie Pierre-Louis, Eugene Brooks, Daniel Akankumi, who, listen, I absolutely love that kid. I think he's got a lot of upside because he hasn't been playing football that long. So he's got the ability to only progress. And I think by the time he leaves college, you could be looking at that kid and say, why wasn't that kid a 5-star? Right. And some people will ask that question once we get to that point. And then you got Isaiah Autry. You've got Josh Isosa out of Edmond Santa Fe. Like, you got a pretty good offensive line class. And then in 2025, right, that's the year you're looking at reloading with massive amounts of talent, whether it's Ty Haywood, Lamont Rogers, Michael Fasusi. You've got the kids out of Bishop Gorman, Douglas Utu, and the other two that I can't pronounce. You've got guys up in Missouri and Kansas, which we know Oklahoma wants to make a pipeline out of those two states. So it's going to be interesting to see where Oklahoma goes and how they look to complete the offensive line here for the SEC inaugural season, and then exactly to see what they do in 2025. You guys know that I've put my prediction in for Michael Fasusi. I like him to end up at Oklahoma as of right now. So that's good news for Oklahoma fans. But guys, I need to hear from you. So make sure you're joining the discussion, jumping down in the comments below. Let me know if I'm off my rocker. Let me know what you guys think about Oklahoma's recent commitment of Febechi Nwaiwu.